This video is going to be about anti-airs. That word is thrown around a lot, but it has a lot of relevance in matches. You can't block while you're in the air in third strike, so your only choice is to really attack or parry. So I'm just going to go over what I think is what you should look for when you're anti-airing. And by the definition, it's any form of a counterattack to an opponent's aerial status and blah 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 blah. So yeah, like right here, Ryu is just doing a bunch of dumb attacks on the ground. They call it zoning. And basically why people want to jump is because you bypass all that shit, and you're also at your most strongest when you're in the air because you're able to do the most damage. So that's two pluses, but you're also at your most vulnerable in the air. Can't block. You know, the first one out of 5 I want to talk about for anti-airs is damage. It's probably the most simple out of the other 4. The more damage you do on your opponents, the closer you are to winning, the more they'll be scared to jump at you. This is all assuming that the person you're playing actually gives a shit about anything. But most people do. And the more damage you do against people who jump, the bigger advantage you have. Damage is always important in this game. Here's just some examples. A lot of high damaging anti-air attacks. Even 12 has great anti-airs. A lot of damage with his standing fierce. And right here, this is an example of a good anti-air, but a weak one. You see how little damage it does? And Dudley also has a chance of trading or outpoking it. The attack is so weak, someone like Dudley can jump in 20 times the match and not give a shit about the damage. Because when he does get in, he's going to do a lot of damage. Second one I'm going to talk about is priority and outpoking. Priority, I think, is when 2 attacks hit at the same time and 1 attack wins based on the developer's discretion, which attacks they wanted to beat the other one. Like Shin Shoryuken and Sean Super R2. Sean Super R2 wins. That was just what they wanted. So right here, Sean is out prioritizing Ken. He's also out poking him too. We talked about priority, so this is outpoking. Outpoking is basically you attack the enemy's poke before their poke fully develops to its strongest point. Basically, if their poke before it fully comes out or while it's retracting, it gets outpoked. Like right here, Remy's attacking Dudley before Dudley's poke can come out. Right here, Yang is out prioritizing. He's trading hits with Urian's kick and he's winning. Right here, Urian's out poking Ken. Ken's trying to get an attack to come out. He's doing it late. He's getting out poked. The attack doesn't come out. Its priority isn't fully developed. And Urian gets the poke. Same against Ryu. Getting out poked. Projectile out pokes, well, pretty much everything in the air. Almost everything. Q's trying to get in a deep hit, but he can't. His poke's not coming out in time. His priority isn't taking effect yet. Right here goes. Attack is coming, is just getting out poked. The hits are around the same time, but his priority is just less. Right here, 12 is the one getting out poked, and he's on the ground because he hasn't let his attack come out full effect. Same with Ryu getting out poked by Sean. Your priority is the strongest on the ground rather than the air. Every character in the game has one attack on the ground that just flat out prioritizes almost everything that anyone else in the air can attack with. So use that move well. Right here is a projectile. I'm trying to poke the projectile, not working. So yeah, projectiles are a bit different, but they do count as that. Oh, this is the best part. This is why everyone hates third strike and parries. Adding. This is what happened. Someone jumped in. Guy tried to anti-air. He gets parried. He tries to anti-air with one hit. Gets parried and loses like half his HP. It's wonderful. Yeah, most people like that, they kind of hated, they developed a grudge for third strike and they just gave up on it. Well, for those of us who stayed, well, here's the solution to this controversial problem. You just add another hit to your anti-airs. And that's pretty much it. Just add more hits. Makes it more difficult to parry. Like I said, you're very vulnerable in the air, regardless of what anyone else thinks. You can't parry everything that an opponent of your own level throws at you all the time. So yeah, just add attacks to it, keeps them out of the air. Characters like Akuma is really good at anti-airs. So dangerous to jump in on him. It just depends how badly you want to keep your opponent out and how predictable he is. Next one we're going to talk about is ease. This is basically a convenient attack, last second anti-air. You don't know your opponent's going to jump, but he did. And you're basically using this attack to keep him out last second. Usually someone's ground game is really, really strong. You're trying to beat him on the ground. You don't even know he's going to jump. But this is the attack that saves your ass at the last second. These ease attacks, are very... They're not very... Their priority is okay. They're usually weak. But you need them. See, that one traded. You most likely trade or even lose if you're too late with the poke. Like the EX Shoryuken, ideally you want to do that. You want to anti-air, like with Dudley. Look at that anti-air, 40% of his HP. Ideally you want attack. If you could predict the future, that's what the damage you want to land all the time. But you can't do that. So that's where these weaker attacks that are really quick come in. And next one is safety. These are basically attacks that these anti-airs, if it were to fail, how much damage would it reduce when an enemy comes down and fucks you up? Alex's Crouching Fierce is a good one. If someone parries all hits of your Shoryuken, that's not a good failsafe. Necro's back Fierce is a good failsafe. Atlanta's back HK is. Usually the enemy can only pop off one little weak hit. And then you're back to a neutral game. Pairing Atuma's Tatsu with Urien, you only get a grab after that. Q has some good anti-airs that have a lot of safety to them. A lot of priority, very fast. Basically, these attacks make it so they either put you in the air. So if you get hit, you fly back, or they get parried too low to the ground. Opponent's attack can't come out, so they have to land and put you at a neutral game.